I was giving a talk at a university, and a woman came up to me and she said, "I don't like all of this talk of separation. Baldwin talked about embracing one another, coming together." And I said, I was lingering on the word separation, and I was thinking to myself, it's not separation, it's a recoiling.
Recoiling, that's what it is, right?
It's a flinching back. How could you do this? Trust is cracked wide open. Trust is cracked wide open. Why would you do? And so I understand Danielle's conclusion, but we are on this ship.
Yeah.
And if it sinks, we're going down too. So we can learn how to do the fan dance, and we can help everybody that, turn inward as we are wont to do, because we got to make sure, because whenever the fever dream spikes, our task historically, in the tradition out of which I come, is to get our babies to the other side intact. So I understand the impulse, but what I think is required of us, right, is a kind of wisdom that isn't naive, right? A wisdom about the current circumstances. If we jumped out into the streets right now, it would be the perfect excuse for Trump to engage in another act that would throw the Constitution in the trash bin. He would deploy the military forces immediately in order to do what he wants to do, to exact a certain kind of violence against this particular kind of body. So, but we still have to fight. We still have to fight for the country we want. But I think the way we do it is by telling the truth, and not trying to finagle this thing, trying to soft pedal it. What we are confronting is an explicit white nationalist project.
Yep.
And I was saying this about the assault on American universities just the other day. If you were to read William Buckley's 1951 text, God and Man at Yale, he is railing against universities as these liberal bastions that teach collectivism, Keynesianism, right, secularism. He is really railing against liberal values. And you know what? In 1951, people like me didn't walk the halls of Princeton and Harvard. We weren't admitted. And so what you do, you get the same critique and you add multiculturalism. That's Alan Bloom. You get the same critique and you add DEI and critical race. This is a long-standing project. And, they can send their attack dog, Christopher Rufo, after us. But Rayhan Salam, who leads the Manhattan Institute, who writes for the National Review, this guy, why is the Manhattan Institute suddenly attacking, right, universities and colleges? For what ends? For what purpose? Because I think this is why. Because when it comes to an actual battle of ideas, an exchange of ideas, they can't win.
Nope.
So they have to change the rules and appeal to our darker sides, our darker angels. And that's what's happening. And we fall for the okedoke every single time. So I understand Danielle's point. Some days I feel it. I try to beat back the bitterness and cynicism. But if this place goes down, my baby goes down with it.
Yeah.
And I'd be damned if I let that happen. I don't believe that evil is ministerial to good. I don't think anything good comes out of unnecessary death or tragedy. We say that in order to deal with the mystery of loss, right? So I don't want to say we need this economic pain for people to lose their livelihoods who've worked all their days only to see it disappear as the rich kind of snatches everything. The top 0.1% gobbles up everything again. I think, you use this wonderful language. We don't need to return. It's not nostalgia. We need to reform. We need reformation. We need a fundamental transformation of who we are. And it seems to me that there are some out here. There's some among us, and I've said it earlier, who would rather throw the entire thing away than give it up. They would rather throw the entire country away than give it up. And we need to understand that impulse for what it is, right? I think if I'm answering the question, We need to see it for what it is. And so the economic pain that people are experiencing, and now that they're screaming, it's how can I put it? Would the Trump supporter who's now feeling the pain of his policies as they affect them, would they have said a mumbling word if it hadn't? If those policies only affected us? So part of what we're talking about is a toxic brew of greed, selfishness, and hatred. So the moment the policy started hurting them,
Yep.
there was this outcry. And of course, rightly so. But if it didn't hurt them, would the hate that was being directed at us mattered?
Nope.
And that's what, and so if it did, so that means something is still in place in the midst of the outcry. And if we're going to have a reformation and transformation, we got to tap the root. And that is this complex intermingling or interconnectedness, right? The interweaving. They're tight. They're like snakes in a mating ball, coiled together. Hatred, greed, and selfishness. And all three will destroy this republic. Because let's put it this way, Doc. This isn't post-World War II. China is not in the midst of the Maoist revolution. The quote-unquote third world is not trying to step out from under decolonization, not in the process of decolonization. Europe is not in tatters because it just ate its entrails. The moment the U.S. emerged as a world power, the globe was in tatters.
Yep.
So the idea that these people believe that they're going to win on a battlefield by sidelining all of this talent, by thinking that they alone can do it. Well, I got an affordable flat in Brooklyn to sell. We're crying in the wilderness, but we have to shout until we have no voice. Look, in order not to become the monsters we despise, in order for our hearts not to be calloused, we have to beat back the temptation to hate those who hate us. When those people forgave Dylan Roof in that church, many people read that as an example of, the superordinate moral gene in Black people. No. It has something to do with, if I hate that human being has control over me. What does it mean not to let my heart be the possession of those who despise me? So it's not about, some abstract notion of love. It might even be a selfish concern, right? As the wild beasts, this is what Douglass described those who were engaged in hunting fugitive slaves. He called them the wild beasts. As the wild beasts roam, right? Our task is not to allow the circumstances of the world to deform our characters, to make us into the demons we despise. So we have to do the hard labor of protecting our hearts, right? And you do that by pulling your loved ones close, right? And you do that by loving and trying to introduce light wherever you are, even in the face of those who despise you. And so I really, really want to echo your point. Despite your hatred of me and despite your judgment of why I'm in the position that I'm in, I want the best for you and your family. I want you to be able to make your dreams a reality, just like I want everybody else in the country and in the world to make their dreams a reality. I don't believe a Jewish baby is valued more than a Muslim baby or a Palestinian child. I cherish all human life, and that value animates the way in which I orient myself in the world. And nobody's going to change that, no matter the hate they direct towards me.